Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here, and happy full moon in Sagittarius. Now, I know that this happened late last night. If you're EST like me, I think it was 11:41 p.m. EST. I was fully intending to hop on live last night, but y'all, talk about that fire. It was in the 90s yesterday here in Maryland, and we were outside for most of the day for a birthday party for our friend's kiddo, and the kids were outside playing. And I'm sure many of you know I'm expecting our second child, so being in the heat with in the third trimester left me a bit tired, to say the least. I passed out pretty much when we got home last night, and so I decided to, why not just start fresh? Let's do it the next day. And with the full moon energy, it's going to hang out for a bit. So I don't think anything's missing out here. Plus, you don't get sleepy Rowena. You get nice, awake, vibrant Rowena. And vibrant is where we're at with Sagittarius. So today we're going to be talking about the Sagittarius full moon and what that means, not only, right, come on, language arena, not only in regards to Sagittarius as an energy, but also in terms of the full moon. So before we get into that, if you haven't already, feel free to sign up for my Intuitive Astrology Insights email. It is a monthly email newsletter that I send out around the start. So my plan is to send it out for June, this coming week, totally free. I will put this link in the show notes because I don't know if you feel like typing all those letters, but that is something to consider if you want more in-depth insights. I also provide prompts in terms of questions you may want to ask in terms of the different aspects. In addition to that, I am officially relaunching a new version of my Inner Muse membership. So if you're interested in learning more about astrology, not just in terms of the full moon and new moon insights videos that we post here, but also if you want to know more about what's going on in your individual chart, if you want access to all of the astrology-based masterclasses, downloads, resources, being able to ask questions of folks that I bring on as guests in my astrology conversations series that I've started and kicked off with the start of Aries season, lots of other goodies to share. Here is the link to check that out. You'll get a sense of what goes on in that membership. We are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of my membership this month, so we're doing a little revamp. And if you're interested, just use the promo code IMM to get 33% off your very first payment. So now that we got all that logistical stuff out of the way, let's talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius as an energy, right? Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Sagittarius is all about adventure and learning, and it rules a lot of the higher learning, like expansion, that sort of stuff. So when it comes to Sagittarius and what this full moon could mean for you, think about everything that you've learned in the past season, month, quarter, what have you. As you know, we just had a Mercury retrograde last month. We had eclipse season. So it's a great time to go and reflect on, what have I learned? What do I still need to learn? And what do I need to learn in terms of showing up in my authenticity as my authentic self? If you're familiar with my work and what I've been doing for a while, I always talk about, aligning with your most authentic self. So this is a wonderful time. This energy of Sagittarius is a wonderful time to really tap into what that means for you, right? What can I learn about myself? What can I learn about myself in regards to how I interact with the world, with the universe, and with other people in order to step into my true authenticity? And how can I go about that, right? Is it through engaging with specific people? Is it through finding community in other spaces? Is it through reading? Is it through resources? Is it through just, taking a walk out in nature, tapping inward, right? Try to determine what that means to you, because at the end of the day, and this is the whole concept behind my Inner Muse, idea and concept, is that we have that inner muse, we have that intelligence, that knowledge, that wisdom deep within us. And oftentimes other crap gets in the way. So what can we do to excavate and release Because again, that full moon energy is all about the release. How can we release all that gunk and stuff that we no longer need, what no longer serves us, in order to learn and tap into that innate wisdom, that intelligence, and that inner muse that we know is even, on a cellular soul level, we know that we have the answers that we need to be, to show up as we're meant to. So with that, I wanted to just share a short snippet from this book called Letters to a Starseed. It's kind of hard with all my, okay, ring light. Hello. Yeah, it's a very, very shiny book. So when I was in Seattle, oh my gosh, it was last month at this point, last month, speaking at a conference, I was able to spend some time with some friends, and we went to, a witchy shop, and this book just stood out to me. Y'all, I read this whole book on the flight home. Mind you, it's a pretty long flight, like 5 hours or so, but it was like, so I felt called to pull this out to read an excerpt today. And I opened it up and I felt that this passage in particular was perfect in terms of what I'm speaking to in regards to Sagittarius energy, in regards to learning, in regards to learning about ourselves and trusting that we have the knowledge and wisdom. So this is from page 88 of Letters to a Starseed by Rebecca Campbell. You're being called to remember the intelligence that's within each and every one of your cells. To remember that you're a precious child of a loving, ever-changing universe, that you have access to the intelligence, to all the wisdom, the strength, the flow, and the qualities there ever were, are, or will be. And to remember that if flowers know exactly when and how to bloom, then you do too. And so there's this passage called the Soul Inquiry. So, how can you surrender more deeply to the intelligent flow of life and what is ready to bloom within you? So, the surrender piece, the letting go, right? What can we let go of with this full moon? Full moon is all about the release, right? Because full moon is like we have this like lunation. It's at the peak, the light is all there. So how can we surrender and how can we release? And then questioning or interrogating or exploring or excavating or unpacking, choose the word of what is within ready to bloom, right? Right, right. And, something that I've pondered and thought about and something that I plan to offer this month is how does in particular, and this is very, bringing it back down, right? Because it's like, okay, Rowena, great, like starseed stuff, blah, blah, blah. Interviews, whatever. How can we bring it down to the ground? Think about it in regards to perfectionism, right? And how, because we're so fearful of being perfect or of experimenting and potentially failing, and how can we reframe these experiences as learning opportunities? Again, going back to that Sag energy, how can we go back to understanding that perfectionism gets in the way of our higher learning, not only learning in regards to concepts around us, but learning in regards to who we are and what we're here to do. And so that shedding perfectionism piece is so, is a crucial exercise. And it's a lifelong process, as a recovering perfectionist myself, trust me, I am nowhere near where I'd like to be with this, but everything is sporadic, everything is always evolving. And so I plan to once again do my 3-day pushing past perfectionism challenge, because I think this is a great time, especially since we're in June, end of Q2, we're halfway through the year. Let's look back at what we've learned, in the past year. What goals do we still hope to accomplish by the end of 2023? And how can we push past perfectionism in order to get there? Because oftentimes it's when we take the leap, it's when we take a leap of faith, or we take a risk, that like push ourselves to the edge a little bit, that it tends to pay off. And that's what it's all about, right? Because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is, the planet of expansion, right? When we think of Jupiter, Jupiter is the planet of abundance, of luck, of expansion. But let's remember that in order to expand, there has to be some contraction too, right? Because if we always expand, well, eventually the bubble's going to burst. So that there's always this, expansion and contraction that happens, especially when we are, going to a new level, whether if we're trying to move forward or move upward or move, level up in some way or try to explore something that may be a little out of our comfort zone or a little, outside of our realm of consciousness, right? There can be some moments of contraction. So, give yourself grace in this journey, right? Oftentimes, again, that perfectionism and that wanting to know all the things and wanting to know all the answers, that's just not possible. It's just not feasible or realistic because that's not life, right? Sometimes we get pushed back and oftentimes we're like, what the hell? And then years later we look down the road and we're like, oh, no, just kidding. I was supposed to be there. So remember that even though there are going to be moments of expansion after we do that release, that there could be some contraction as well. What's also interesting about this particular full moon in Sag is, Sagittarius, as I mentioned, is that fire sign. There's an F ton of planets in fire signs right now. So it's going to be like a fiery moment, right? Last week, we had a bunch of astrological events leading up to this full moon, and we have some coming up. Again, if you want to know more, sign up for my free intuitive astrology insights newsletter. But, with all these planets in fire right now, shit's going to be moving, so things might be moving a little fast. I'm probably not quite like eclipse season level, but again, taking what we've learned from eclipse season and now it's like, okay, now we're going to, where the rubber meets the road, let's like put this stuff into practice. And so, when we think and consider this movement in fire, just again, being able to take stock of, okay, is this in alignment for me, right? With fire, there can be a tendency to perhaps be a little rash or impulsive. So being able to take a deep breath, take a pause, take a step, and understand, like, okay, this is where universe is moving me. Let's take stock. Let's take some moments, and especially since we've been contending with this Taurus in the North Node. We talked about this last time with the new moon in Taurus, right? And the North Node is like, where are we going, right? What do we desire? What are we moving toward? And so take that Taurus in the North Node, that this time of Taurus in the North Node, to really ground and stabilize and think through, like, okay, if I'm being pushed and moved in this way, how can this North Node in Taurus really stabilize and ground me in a way that is going to feel healing, feel an alignment, feel at peace, and will be really good for my nervous system. Because sometimes too much fire can get us all like, meh, and we certainly don't want to do that, right? Okay, so that was a lot. As always, if you have any questions, I wonder if it's that all the fire. I felt like I spoke very quickly today. There was just a lot, in my brain that I was just dying to get out, apparently. But yeah, I'm always here if you're interested in a more personalized reading. If you're interested in the Inner Muse membership, again, let me pull this up here. It's just rowenawinkler.com/inner-muse-membership. And if you can go through, see exactly what's included in the membership, be a part of the founding member group for round 2, and you can scroll all the way down and sign up for either a monthly subscription or a yearly. And regardless of which subscription you choose, by using the discount code IMMIN, you will get that first payment 33% off, because yes, we love the angel numbers. Alrighty, so now that we said all that, let's do a card pull. Today I was feeling called, and I think that's why, I don't know, it's like very stars themed. The Star Temple Oracle is what was feeling called for today by Suzy, Cherub. This is one of my newer decks. I haven't pulled from it too often, but I felt like, yes, Star temples like worship, learning. I don't know, it just felt good for this particular full moon. We'll see what we have for you. Again, if you're interested in your own personalized card pull, feel free to reach out and let me know. More than happy to accommodate in that way. All right. Oh. So it's the triple star grid, a line. I collect and align with my higher consciousness. Ooh, Taigeta. Okay, let's see what Homegirl has to say here. Na, na, na. 26. Okay. So I'm going to read the Taigeta, like, full description of what Taigeta means, and then I will speak to the specific card. Okie dokie. Taygeta is a binary star and one of the brightest in the Pleiades constellation. She's known as the mistress of the animals because of her strong affiliation with the wilderness and wild animals. It's a throat chakra. Very nice. The crystal's aquamarine. And let's see here. The history is that some say Taygeta is also a twin sister of Artemis, Greek goddess of the hunt. They're twins. They're happiest when they're running wild and free in the forest, defending sacred sisterhood, children, and animals. According to legend, Zeus is said to have pursued Taygeta relentlessly despite her repeated rejection. Typical of Zeus. For her protection, Artemis hid her from Zeus by turning her into a doe with golden horns. Zeus, however, was not deterred and eventually found her. After making love, Taygeta conceived and gave birth to Lacedaemon, the mythical founder and king of Sparta. So through her son, Taygeta also became known as Queen of Sparta. However, she always felt more at home in the wilderness than on a throne. Mount Taygetos in Laconia was her sacred shrine. Okay, so the archetype for this particular goddess is the storyteller. The storyteller is the keeper of all knowledge, wisdom, and truth. Very on brand for Sagittarius. As the storyteller, Taygeta is the narrator of life, instigating personal growth and spiritual evolution through the sharing of intentional stories. Man, my nose is really itchy. Taygeta helps you to seek the wisdom in your own stories, to move forward fearlessly and not get stuck in a repetitive story that no longer serves you. There is freedom in the mindful pursuit of spiritual awareness and deep surrender. She links in with the throat chakra to assist intuitive expression and truth. Ooh, we love it. Okay, so let's see what the triple star grid card in particular is sharing us. What's the message here? All right. So the star words for this card are unite, clarity, and inner knowing. Oh my gosh. Again, we love it when the cards like pretty much are in alignment with what we were just chatting about. Taygeta is calling you to unite with the triple star grid that encircles our precious Earth Mother. Multidimensional transformation and higher streams of consciousness await you. You have the power to intentionally link into the electromagnetic halo of our sacred planet for clear cognitive messages. Claircognizance, or clear psychic knowing, is an intrinsic genius. Embrace it. Your spiritual growth is being accelerated so you can accomplish your higher purpose. Your stars are aligning, and you're encouraged to balance your chakras for clear, intuitive reception. It's your destiny to be of service to the collective. Ooh, we love that. That's awesome. Yeah, no, very much. Yeah, that feels good. Pretty much in alignment with what everything we chatted about today, which I hope has served you in some way. You can see, my information. There's my website. There's my IG account. But honestly, RB Winkler Ph.D. is my handle for all the social media. So if you want to connect, want to send a DM, want to say hello, more than happy to chat through this full moon with you. Otherwise, I hope to see you at the next event or live stream or what have you. Have a wonderful full moon, and I hope that you take the time to tap into that intelligence, shed that perfectionism, expand to where you need to go, and to temper the fire as much as possible. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.